So let's talk about this recent interview with Hajime Isayama. Yo, what's good to Boarded Reviews, and a few weeks ago, Hajime Isayama made his first ever appearance in the USA at the Anime NYC Con, and just before his Q&A panel session at the Anime NYC Con, Anime News Network was able to sit down with Isayama just before the panel begun. So let's go through these 8 questions that Anime News Network asked Isayama. Question 1. What's life been like after finishing a lengthy civilization? Is there anything you can catch us up on now that you have more time? Isayama replied, I have something family related going on that keeps me pretty busy. I still don't have much time for myself. Looks like Hajime Isayama is pretty busy with his family life then, putting others before himself. Question 2. Attack on Titan's success has brought you into contact with many popular creators. Is there anyone who gave you important advice or helped you continue to grow as a creator? One of the people that I can think of is Flower of Evil Manga Creator. He is also a manga creator that I've worked with at the same publisher. One day he told me, Isayama-san, you are really sadistic. And I said, am I? He might be right. What he told me really rang a bell in my head, and I really appreciated his honest and truthful perspective that he shared with me. That has continued to support me, that among the creators I can be that open with somebody else. I'm not familiar with the manga, but judging from the images I've seen on Google Images, it looks kinda creepy, dude. Question 3. Is there a defining moment that stood out to you as my work is larger than life now? Isayama replied, yeah, especially when my work became an anime. That's when I really felt like it has become larger than my life, because the characters kind of start to develop on their own depending on the voice actors' acting skills. It became quite different from what I originally imagined them to be, so I kind of treat them like that Eren, which is different from my version, but I also recognize it as a different version of the character. Pretty interesting statement he said there, considering the fact that, according to Anime News Network, Isayama credited voice actor Yuki Kaji for influencing the manga's portrayal of Eren as more of a good guy, and Isayama needed to steer the direction of the story in order to make it convincing to readers. Question number 4. After creating an international hit, do you feel any pressure or expectations to reach that level of your next work? So actually there's no pressure. If I think it's not going to be exactly the same as good or as interesting as Attack on Titan, if I don't compare myself to the previous work, I don't have to feel the pressure, so maybe I'll be able to write a totally different story. While Isayama did mention in the Anime NYC panel that he has no plans to make a new manga, it is interesting that he does say maybe he'll be able to write a totally different story, so there's always a possibility that he may decide to do something manga related in the near future. The next question is, with the latest seasons of the Attack on Titan anime, you have had more opportunities to participate in the productions. Are there story adjustments you wanted to make for the anime adaptation? Isayama replied, one example I can think of is when Attack on Titan became an anime series. When they introduced the vertical maneuvering equipment, I wanted the design to be more improved by the time it became an anime. That was a request I had put to the anime team. Later, I realized that was a very difficult request that I have put in, and I felt really bad later. The next question is, how much historical research did you do for Attack on Titan, and do you consider his story to be an interest of yours? Isayama replies, I love history very much. When I started working on AOT, I did a lot of research on the German cultures from 2000 years ago. I love the reference there. Details like clothing are the things that I really looked into, and I also really like the ancient Europe that gets introduced in the works like Game of Thrones. I enjoy those very much. Another area of interest is Great Britain during ancient times. That's also an era that interests me. Yeah, Isayama seems to be really influenced by Game of Thrones a lot. He's been referencing that show quite a bit, with Gabby Brown being influenced by Arya Stark. The next question is, you have spoken before about how the walls in AOT were inspired by your hometown. Are there any other locations in the world that you have seen that makes you think that's inspiring? Isayama replies, so my hometown in Otia is a very secluded and isolated place. It's like a flat land surrounded by mountains, so I feel like that was kind of my inspiration for the walls that appear in Attack on Titan. Isayama also mentions another one which I can't actually pronounce, but the appearance has definitely inspired me to think of the image of seeing from the top of the wall and looking down, and also there's a part of the mountain that kind of looks like the reclining Buddha. And the final question is, what TV shows have you been watching lately? I heard you are really into the Disney Plus programming. I do subscribe to a lot of TV streaming services. I've been watching a lot of things on Disney Plus, but honestly, I started to get a little bit tired of Marvel. Same here, buddy. Same here. I think I watched the first episode of She-Hulk. I definitely do go around to every streaming service to watch what interests me. One of the series that I've been following recently is Barry. It would be too many if I start to name them all, I'm sorry. Overall, pretty interesting interview. I do hope we do get some more interviews with Isayama in the near future, maybe when Attack on Titan the final season part 3 comes out, who knows? But what did you think of this latest interview by Isayama? Do you like it, do you hate it? Like for more AOT reactions, reviews, comparisons, breakdowns, rankings and more. Thanks for watching, Boarded Review signing out.